Armor and weapons. Armor is designed to overcome the weapon of its day. Weapons are designed to overcome the armor of its day. So you can understand more about a weapon by knowing what armor it's going up against, and vice versa. So when you look at a plate mail armor, you're like, okay, so clearly this thing is impervious to cuts. If you're going to try to slash at a piece of plate mail, you're going to end up with it deflecting into a weird direction, and you're going to end up with a laughing guy on the other side. You're laughing other combatant. Because any slash going up against, any cut, motion of the arm like that, any cut is just going to make the guy laugh at you. Any thrust with any real force is going to need some serious puncturing power to go through, because it's a piece of plate armor, hardened steel, very well constructed. So what do you do to match up against that? Well, you have things like really, really penetrating arrows, and those are things like the needle-tipped. I don't know, they've got a fancy name, but really it's a large chunk of needle that's heavy, attached to an arrow that's heavy, with a bow behind it that's a heavy draw bow, 80, 100, whatever pounds, more than 65 pounds at least draw power. You have to be in the neighborhood of the 70 draw power bow just to hope to penetrate it. So you have these weapons are going to be designed to overcome that armor. Then you have a warhammer, which is really a pick. If I was going to look at a warhammer and go, that looks like a pickaxe. You've got your hammer on one side and you've got a pick on the other. It looks like a pick. It's got a big old bill, spike, whatever you want to call it. It's got a big one of those to overcome the creases, the corners. What are they overcoming? They're not going to overcome that spike. Is not to overcome the armor per se. It's to overcome the cracks that you fill in with chainmail and pieces like right there, right at the crux of the arm where it bends in, that you'd have to put chainmail underneath. You'd have those little pads of pieces, and so you've got the armor designed to a point where swords really not going to hurt you unless you're half swording and forcing it in, which is why people did half swording, because it worked, right? So you look at the weapon, you look at the stuff, okay? The sword changes based on the armor, because once you have full plate, then what do you end up getting a little bit later on? Well, the rapier, the pike, the pole arm is designed to be basically a giant spike to puncture that armor, and then the armor changes. Things are adjusted based on each other, right? So when you're trying to judge a piece of armor, judge the weapon and that it's going to go up against, and vice versa. So you can understand a lot more about a piece of armor by trying to figure out what is it going up against. Look at the katana and you go, this is a beautiful sword. It is. They're a beautiful piece of art. But its point is, in all reality, about this wide, because it's that right angle point, right? And so that right angle means that your point is about this wide. So all of the pieces, all the holes in that armor set are, no more than this wide, because your point is this wide. Well, that makes sense. But if it was going up against a rapier, then the katana armor would be useless, because it's not. It's going up against katana. All of the samurai, ninja, because it's the same thing, armor would be designed to go up against katana or their ilk weapons, and vice versa, right? All of the weapons are designed to go against that armor. So, although there is always a weapon that can be able to best a suit of armor, there is always a set of weapons that a suit of armor bests. And there's always that trade-off, right? Am I going for speed or am I going for strength? Speed versus strength. The strength of plate mail armor means that I'm a little bit slower in the movement, in my passion, in my positioning. I have to give up one or the other. What am I giving up? What am I overcoming? What weapon am I going up against? Those are the three questions. Not just what's speed versus strength, but speed versus strength versus weapon. What is the weapon's capacity? And the katana's weapon capacity is speed. You have that long handle, which means that those cranking the front to back positions is going to create huge amounts of speed. So because it's speed, my armor adjusts to speed. So the katana is fast, the armor is designed to be fast. There's clearly a statement in their chainmail, in their weapons, in the lighter and lighter stuff, for their armor. It's designed to be fast. Their armor is designed to be fast. Their weapon is fast. That's why it's fast. The broadsword doesn't need to be fast. It's just brutal. So their armor is designed to survive brutal and doesn't care about being fast. Also, it's designed based on material that you have. But the material kind of adjusts based on those things. You try to adjust to it, and of course that also means cost. But those are really side notes to these other things in a lot of ways. What do I have to overcome? What strengths do I have to overcome to do that? So don't look at a weapon without looking at the armor. Don't look at the armor without looking at the weapon. Don't look at the weapon and armor without looking at the concepts of what is it trying to overcome. And then you'll understand more about the pieces anyway.